Welcome back to the channel, guys. I want to say Self Educated Economist, but actually rebranded. I always said at the beginning or when I first launched my channel, that my name was a placeholder and it's a little bit too close to the Self Educated Economist, although I really like his channel. It's fantastic and I highly recommend that you guys check it out. But I've rebranded for now and I've changed my name to um, No, I don't even remember. Is it Night Economics, which stands for No Ivory Tower Economics. So that's the name I'm gonna go for now. Maybe I'll change it a lot at some point. I didn't think that having a set name for my YouTube channel was so important. I think was more important to get started. But anyways, today we're gonna be talking about mainly about tether dominance. I was actually watching one of what's his name? Ben Cowan. His channel's very good. Into the cryptoverse. I have a hard time remember his name. I just remember him as Into the Cryptoverse. Into the Cryptoverse. Ben Cowan. He has a fantastic channel, and I think his analysis on the overall crypto market and just markets in general is bang on. I've learned a lot watching his videos, among other channels too. I mainly watch his and Crown's Crypto Cave, where I've learned a lot about trading and looking at trend lines and stuff like this. But now when I'm looking at tether dominance, and it's one that I usually like to look at to get an idea of which direction Bitcoin is headed, right? So if tether dominance is going up, usually Bitcoin is going to go down. If tether dominance goes down, usually the price of Bitcoin goes up. So it has like an inverse relationship, which is really interesting. So, anyways, in Ben Cowan's most recent video, he was talking about how essentially tether dominance is making this formation that we have seen in many different types of assets throughout the economy. One of them being palladium, and also in Bitcoin dominance, I believe it was that he was saying. Essentially, you have several highs and you have some lows, and the whole lows. I hope you guys can see me there. Yeah. So you have. Maybe I should make this a little smaller. Whoops. Yeah, so you have a bunch of highs, one, two, three. Maybe I should use the drawing tool. I'm just not very good at it because I should get a mouse. But anyway, does that work? Yeah, so you have this high here. You have another high here, more or less. Another high here. How do you do the, whatever. Uh, and then whatever, you have low here. And then a couple other low. It's pretty much like the same low. It just stayed down there for a while. And essentially, you have these highs and these lows. And then eventually this pattern will create a lower high and then break out from there. And that's essentially what it's doing right now. This is what tether dominance is doing, right? So it's broken up above these previous highs here and a closing basis, which is very important. And now it's come down a little bit, and it's come down with Bitcoin's most recent rally. And now it's kind of pretty much finding support at and this is a weekly, so the 200 weekly simple moving average is finding support. Although I think it could possibly pull back, maybe to the 50% retracement. This is a weekly look, the 50% retracement, maybe even to the 618 at some point. And I think it could, we could see it somewhere, February, maybe even like March, like, because like my initial or my base case is that Bitcoin sometime between February, beginning of February, and as early as April, Bitcoin is going to produce a higher low and then go lower. All right. So, sorry, a lower high and then go lower. So, essentially, going to create a bull trap. Um, so, when you see that happen, sometimes looking at this specific chart, the Bitcoin, sorry, the tether dominance chart, gives you an idea, um, or like some foresight of which direction Bitcoin wants to go. And since this is bullish overall, this is a bullish chart, especially if you're looking at it from here, it's a bullish chart. You have a high, a lower high, and then a higher high, and now it's likely going to create another higher low, right? So you have a low, a high, higher low, higher high, and then possibly another higher low versus this one, right? So, can it retrace somewhere into this territory? Can it get down to 5.75% and 5.144%, and it's currently sitting at 6.11% in terms of dominance. So can it get into this range somewhere between as early as end of this month and as late as April, I think is very, very possible. Somewhere in this pocket of time, I think we should see Tether dominance create a higher low. Sorry, I get mixed up. Essentially, a higher low, and then it'll say it's essentially going to signal that Bitcoin is going to go lower after that. So it's going to create that bull trap in the Bitcoin price, in the price of Bitcoin. Yeah, but anyway, so that's kind of like a long term look. So I'm expecting that to happen within the next couple of months, and then Bitcoin will likely revisit, the weekly 200 simple moving average, which is all the way down at like 60,000 bucks, something like that. Let's take a quick look at Bitcoin. Let's see where it's at. This is probably not a good chart. This is not a good chart either. Hold up. Yeah, so it's right now it's currently sitting at 57,000 bucks. And I mean, Bitcoin's looking bullish right now, right? It's in a very small uptrend. It's more like a consolidation, right? Before possibly, you get this bull trap and then come lower. But anyways, I was looking at the Bitcoin price versus the yen, and I would say this looks even more bullish than in the short term. Let me be clear about this. In the short term, short to possibly medium term, so probably within the next couple of weeks, to next month or two, right? Because I do think long term, like the next 6 months, Bitcoin is not bullish at all. I hope I'm wrong. I would love to be wrong. So, but I really do think you gotta look at the market that's in front of you, and you make better long term decisions in terms of your investments, right? Again, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is just things that I'm trying to present my ideas of what I'm thinking and what I'm looking at, so it could possibly help somebody else. So to see if you could like compare notes with what you're looking at, or if you're just learning how to look at these charts. I've been mainly looking at them for like 5 years, mainly watching Crown Crypto's Cave, Eric Crown's channel, and then maybe the last 2 years actually looking at charts. And spending a lot of time looking at charts really does help you get an idea of where the market is in the medium to long term, right? Like I think short term is very difficult to really get an idea of where the market is. I think it is. It can be, but if you're looking at like long term investing, I think it's actually quite helpful, and it gives you an idea of what to look at, so you could have better entries instead of just like FOMOing in at the top, and then you get a massive pullback. You wait for consolidations or maybe a bear market before you get in, because that's where you're going to make your money, is in bear markets, not in the middle of a bull run. You can make money, but you're not going to make the same kind of money, right? And I think most people are interested in making, either a way to supplement your income, or possibly, depending how much money you got, life changing money. I'm not there. Wish I was, but like if you could supplement your income, why not? So yeah, so I think this is bullish. I mean, especially really, okay, really from here, not really from here, because we had this breakdown from this initial pattern where Bitcoin was trending up and up, and then it broke down through that trend line, and now it's basing from here. And then from here, we're bullish. I mean, maybe I gotta redraw this ray, but essentially, Bitcoin is now basing off of and this is the yen again. Is basing off of is finding support here at the 21, the yellow 21 exponential moving average, finding some support, and thus creating a higher low, and then possibly going into higher territory. As you see here, the 200 day simple moving average on the yen is quite high. It's I would say, I mean, it's hard to really say in terms of dollar terms, like how much higher it is than from current price action versus like the dollar, but we'll check that out. So right now it's approximately 12% higher. And let's take a look at the dollar. Oh no, I gotta use a different chart. This is what I was using for previously. Oh, the LARP line is kind of playing out, sort of. It's just delayed. I was a little bit early with that one. Yeah, so it's actually lower in the yen, and it's much higher in the US dollar. In the US dollar, the 200 simple moving average is all the way it's 17% from current price action, and today is the 7th of January. I'm pretty sure it's the 7th of January. It might be the 8th of January. Oh wait, I could look at the chart. I'm so silly. Um, yeah, it's the 8th of January. Today's a Thursday. So yeah, so like it's much higher. I think you're gonna very, very, very likely hit the 200 simple moving average when you're looking at when you're looking at Bitcoin through the yen. Maybe not necessarily through the dollar. It's actually quite high. But if it were to get above this and have some like several days closing above it, I would get very bullish. And I think a lot of people are. I think, Crown has mentioned that in his videos too, that he would get very bullish. And he's absolutely right. Like that's the last important, you know, last high, bef- the last lower high. And if Bitcoin could get above that, then, kind of get back to all-time highs very possibly. And it's just very interesting that the 200-day simple moving average at current price level is currently there. And this can move quite slowly. So if Bitcoin stays where it's at, it's just going to start moving sideways and just kind of stay there, maybe, kind of with a bias on the downside, as long as it's as Bitcoin's price action doesn't get too high. But if it gets up to 100, it's gonna really just move sideways and possibly start moving up a little bit. So yeah, so it's kind of like in that region. So I do think Bitcoin at some point in this downtrend, it's gonna revisit it. It's just a question of when. I think it's gonna be sometime between the end of this month and as late as early April. So that's all I have for today, guys. I hope you guys bear with me with the rebranding, if you will. I know I don't have many followers right now. It's okay. I'm mainly making these videos for me and to learn how to kind of communicate my ideas in a way that makes sense, and to just kind of master the way I speak a little bit better. Yeah, and I got a lamp now, so you can see me better. I had it before. I was just too lazy to use it. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time. And yeah, subscribe if you like the content. And if you dislike, we'll drop a dislike. Anyway, it's all good. Take care, guys. See you later.